Well, welcome back to another Scrapping Irish video. And in the last video you would have seen, well, might be your last video, might be your first time watching this videos from me. But anyhow, I done a video where I dropped some gold from IC chips that RAM chips that I had incinerated, and we got the gold, so which is now in here. So as I say, it was a dirty drop of gold, so you can see it's got little black bits, brown bits, all that sort of stuff. So it's got different colours in there, and I want to try and purify it a bit more, because I want to try and get it to more that golden brown. So that's other stuff that I've done before, gold that I've done and dropped out of solutions before, and we've got some nice brown material. So that looks like very good pure higher grade gold. You can see, if you compare them there to there, you can see the difference. Now I'm sure I have some other bits of gold that I need to add to this, which I will before I do it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to have a look and see if I have any more there I need to add. So give me a second. Okay, well, I cannot put my hands on where that other container containing some of the gold material is, but it doesn't really matter. We can just use this material for the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refine this, and I'm neutralizing with sulfanic acid, of course, as you'll see. That's what I said in the title. And I'll be dropping it using Copperas. So we'll talk more about the Copperas side of it when I get to that stage. So for now, I just want to get a rough weigh in. It should be around 9 grams or something like that. Let me zero this out now. Zero this out. If it'll zero, there we go. Zeroed. So we'll put the material in here. I think it was around 9 grams, I'm not sure. What's that at the moment? 8. So I think there was another gram in here. If I can brush them out without sending them everywhere. That's saying 8. So we'll work with 8, even though I think it was 9. But anyhow, we'll work with that. So we have our container here with this. So I'm going to get this onto some acariccia. So we're going to get some hydrochloric acid into it and get some a little bit of nitrate to get it going. And once I have it going, we'll come back and we'll have a look at what's happening. Okay guys, so we've started the acariccia, and you can already see we have a reaction happening inside. I have it on heat. I'm going to turn down the heat in a while. Let it work away. So come back in a while and we'll see once it's all fully dissolved. So as you can see, it is working away there. Right guys, so I have dissolved all the powder into this nice clear golden looking liquid. When heated, it turns red. Can't figure out what that's about, but anyhow, so we have it in here. So my next step will be to make, before I neutralize it, will be, sorry, just put that down, to make a solution to drop the gold powder. So I'm going to be using what they call Copperas, or sulfur of iron. Now I will show you a picture of the packing from this, because I've just put it into this at the moment. So I'll just throw up a picture there of what it looks like. Okay, now you've seen what the stuff I'm using. So it used to be called Copperas, and it's sulfur of iron. So the reason I'm using sulfur of iron is I'm doing research and looking at other YouTubers and other people on e-recycling forums. It's probably the best way, they say, to drop the gold out of solution without dropping any other materials from the solutions. So you should get a more pure gold. So you shouldn't have that darker colour. You should have more the browny colour gold powder. So it should be more pure gold powder. So my first thing to do will be to mix some of the solution up in some warm water. So I'm going to just add a couple of spoons of this first, just to get it going. Now when I have it all mixed up, it's warmed water, so it should dissolve quicker into it. And I don't know how much to use exactly, to be honest with you, because it's my first time ever trying this one. So again, don't worry, if it all goes wrong, you can always get back your materials at the end. So we'll put that in first and we'll mix it. After I've finished doing this, now that's distilled water, by the way. After I've finished doing this, I will also then filter it, because there will be bits of iron in there. So I'll filter it to make sure no iron gets in when I'm doing the drop. So this is just what's in here. So I'm just going to stir it up and dissolve the powder into the solution. Now I've seen, I think it was Sweet Teeps, putting in a little bit of hydrochloric acid into it, and you get that greenier, instead of this milkier colour, you get it more greenier. So I will just put a little bit of hydrochloric acid in. It's worked for him, so if it works for the god of e-waste recycling, then hopefully it'll work for me. So I'm just stirring that up. I'll add a bit more in here. So I'm going to continue doing this, and afterwards I will be filtering this out. So I won't be showing the filter on me filtering it on here, because you don't need to see me filtering it. So I'm going to continue on doing this, and hopefully we'll have added enough and not too much of this powder, and we'll be ready for our gold drop. So come back when I've done this and filtered it. Right guys, so I've made my Copperas solution for dropping the gold, nice green colour. So that's been filtered, and that's what we're left with. Hopefully it's enough, not too much. So before we start dropping the gold and neutralising any excess nitric, we better check and make sure there is some gold in it. So we'll start with this one, and I'll just leave something like that down here to the side. So again, let me get you into focus. We're looking for a black reaction on it. It's hard when you're looking through the camera, but there we go. So instant, try and focus off it, there you go, instant reaction for gold, well, precious metal. And I also have this solution, which was more the washing out of the filters and stuff like that. So I want to check and see if there's any precious metals left in that one as well. So I'll stand that up there for a second. Right, so again, we'll get a cotton bud and we'll test this one as well. A bit more awkward because I should have put it into a bigger glass or something. But anyhow, we have the liquid, and we'll test it for precious metals to see if so. We have a discolorment, again not quite as reactive as the other one, but there is precious metals in there. So I'm going to just pour both them solutions in together. I'm heating it up at the moment because I want to have it heated before I use the sulfamic acid to neutralize any excess nitric acid. So I'll just put these cotton buds into the waste bin, well, into my waste bin, which is a different thing to keep them in. Okay, so they'll be burned, incinerated. That's what I have to do with them. So they'll be put into my stove and burnt to get rid of, to make sure there's no toxins getting into the bins. So yeah, so might as well just mix both of these together. No point having them separate. Both of them have precious metals in them. So it's just a more dilute version of it. And we'll just wash out the container with distilled water. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on heat for a few minutes. You can come back once it's warmed up and we'll get the sulfamic acid and we'll start to neutralize any excess nitric acid that's in there. So come back when we're ready to do that. Right, so I have heated this up, as you can see by the condensation on the glass, and you can see some steam rising out from there. So I'll just lower it down. I don't need it that hot now at the moment. And bring it down a touch. So I'm just going to use sulfamic acid to neutralize any excess nitric acid is still there. So I'm just going to start with a small amount. I'm just not getting much of a reaction, so hopefully there wasn't. You can see a little bit of reaction happening down at the bottom, so that should be enough for a moment. We'll give it a stir around and make sure that has dissolved that sulfamic acid, because you see it's sitting at the bottom. So looks like we don't have too much excess nitric. As you can see, the sulfamic acid just sitting in the center, so we'll just stir it around and make sure it's all dissolved into the solution. Which is good, that we don't have too much nitric acid, so it's just dissolved all of that in. So we might just put another little touch in. As it, no, there's still some in the center. So yeah, I think that's going to be what I'd call completely neutralized, because it's not dissolving that. There's no reaction with it. It's taking a while to dissolve down the sulfamic acid and the hot. So I'm going to say that I think that is done. Now I'm just going to turn off the heat completely. I'm going to let that settle for a few minutes, let it cool down a small bit, and we'll come back and we'll add our copperas to it, and hopefully, well, the reaction won't be the same as sulfamic acid by looking at other people's videos. It's a slower reaction, but hopefully we'll get a drop of some very good gold powder at the end of it. So let's go. Let's come back in a second and we'll see once I let this cool for a while, and we'll get ready to drop. Right, so I have refiltered it, and just to make sure there was no of that sulfamic acid residue left in there, which hadn't dissolved, and there was a few little bits. So I'm presuming it's completely neutralized. Hoping it is anyhow. So we'll turn it this way so you can actually see, and we'll zoom in. So now you can see in the big, so it is good and clear, and we have our Copperas solution, and all I'm going to do is pour it in. I don't know am I doing this right or wrong, because first time ever doing it, so we'll see what happens. So this is our Copperas. Well, it's gone black anyhow. We'll stir it up. Now, I do know from watching other people doing the Copperas drops, it does take longer than it does for the sulfamic acid, for the gold to drop out of solution. So we'll let this work away, and we'll come back in a while. I still have another little bit of Copperas filtering out here, so you can see. So if I do need to use a small bit more, I have another little bit, but I'm hoping we get a good drop from it of some nice gold. So come back when this is all settled out. Could be tomorrow before that happens, but we'll see. Okay, so it's actually the next morning, and I've let this overnight. As you can see, it's still a very dark colour, so maybe it's meant to be like that, I don't know. There is powder at the bottom, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test to see if there's any precious metal still left in this liquid. So that's the first thing I want to do, and see, do we get a positive or negative. Okay, so we're not getting any colour changed to black, so I'm presuming everything has dropped out of solution. Yeah, no negative, no change. So I take that as a everything's dropped out of solution. So I'll put that aside. Okay, so I've put that aside. So what am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to siphon off this liquid as best I can. We'll filter it properly, but for the moment we'll siphon it off. Or pour it off, not siphon it off. Pour it off as best I can. I just want to see if I can see the powder below, without pouring any of it out, of course. So there is our gold powder. Now I will filter this, of course, because there will be little bits of gold will have got in through there. Not an awful lot, but there will be some. So that'll be filtered, and the gold will be got from the filters at some stage. But the main bulk of the gold is in here. So what has to be done now is that has to be washed with distilled water a few times, and we'll come back and we'll see what we've got. So I'm going to put that into distilled water and boil it, and we'll come back once that's completed and dried out, and we'll see what we have in powder. Well, we're inside again now, so that can only mean one thing, that we have our gold powder. So you can see there, we've got a nice browny colour. Not as brown as the other powders I was getting, but still it's better than what it was looking. So what can we do? We're going to have to weigh it in. So this is the part we all like. So let's zero it. Oh, let's zero it. And we have it at grams, zeroed. Let's see what we have. So just make sure it's all out. So there we go, 8.56 grams of re-refined gold. So that can get added to my other gold that well, some of my other gold. Taking something out of my way here. So I'm going to add it in here with this, and this can be, you can still see this is still a not nicer brown, that's a darker brown still, but I think when we refine the whole lot at some stage. So again, it's a nice brown but not as nice as that. So we'll put it all together just as a matter of interest. Let's see what we have in here in total while we're at it in this. I know I have more gold somewhere else, but I just couldn't put my hands on it at the moment. So just over an ounce. 34 grams, 34.89 grams of gold there. So quite nice. Put it back. So my plan is when I eventually get maybe to 100 grams of gold, I will melt it into a nice 100 gram bar. That's the plan anyhow. So there you go guys, that's just showing, the video was to show me re-refining some dirty gold drop. Well, a few gold drops together I think it was there. Re-refining it, you do lose the grams but you're getting the purity up. So thanks for watching. Done it with Copperas this time. So thanks for watching, and Catch you on the next video. As always, appreciate you taking the time to watch the videos. And don't forget, we're live every Sunday. So check out the live videos. Join in, talk about what you want. See you all there.